Gals podcast. I'm your moderator, Melissa. With me is Carmela, a communications major, Brianna, also in communications, and Elle, speech and language pathology. We're here at the SCC TV studio, and it is our final podcast. Today we're talking about what we learned in our group communications class. So we'll be covering expectations versus reality, how our group worked together, and then what we're going to be taking away from it. Oh my goodness. So before we begin, let's start with the bigger question. What is up with the POF? For those that don't know, POF is our group communications professor, and you've had him before.
I have. Actually, this is like a completely full circle moment. Because as I'm reinventing myself, starting over in life, coming back to college, 10 years ago, I had him for my first communications class. And I will say he set the bar really high. He was definitely a professor that you enjoy coming into the classroom, and he's there to teach, but he has an open mind for like anybody that wants to bring like fresh ideas. And I really like that after all this time, he has kept that, and like it's just such a fun class, and I have really enjoyed it. Like this Professor Poff he's one of the good ones for sure. Definitely a classic chick. Shameless plug for the communications class.
But when you think of like group communications class, was there any part of you that was like, no, I don't want to.
You don't want to. I mean, for me, I thought like we were going to be in the library. We're going to be kind of like story time. You know, like he's going to give us something to discuss. And in our little groups, we were going to talk about whatever that topic was. And then one of us would kind of like stand up and then discuss it with the class. Like, what about you?
I thought it was going to be more like public speaking, like a lot of presenting, a lot of like maybe a little bit of group work, but like presenting to people, to an audience. We're kind of doing that, but like not really, because we don't have a live audience, except for maybe POF.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a different experience because I had a class with Professor Pop's wife, and she told me about this class, and she was like, you guys are going to be in the studio talking together, bringing different topics, and I was like, that sounds amazing. I want to do that.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, because through Carmela, I actually found out that his wife also taught for Solano Community College, which house full of professors.
I know.
Like, how fun is that? And she's an author. Like, that's her book. Definitely on all of our reading lists.
Yeah, I'll say that when I thought of group communication, I was like, okay, so we're just going to be doing, like, you know those team where it's like 2 truths and a lie, or like team bonding stuff, or like you said, being in the library, talking about like, here's the discussion for this week, this is what, this is what we're going to be talking about, or I don't know.
It was collage on it.
I know. And like, we've all had those group projects that are just like, there's always one that's going to be like so painful, because you're like, I know this person is not going to contribute. We might as well just move on without them. Or like, I'm doing all the work because no one is being held accountable. So I was a little like, I'm ready for anything. I'm ready to like defend myself. If it, like, I came in like kind of like, and then I saw the syllabus. I was like, oh my God, we're doing podcasts.
That is really nice that you like had that like, oh, we're doing podcasts, because when he said podcast, I was like, immediately no.
I was
like, yeah, I've heard what I need to hear. I'm out. Like, this is like the only class that I am taking as a reintroduction to getting the ball rolling. And I was like, so I'm gonna be like on the internet in a time in my life where like I'm not like really confident, and like I was just thinking, I was really narrow-minded and limiting myself to be like, I'm just not podcast ready. I'm just not like social media ready in like that sense. But I would say that it has been well above like what I had expected it to be, in a very positive way.
Yeah, like I think everything that we've learned in group, I mean, working together on the podcast was the group communication.
Yes.
It didn't matter what we came in and talked about. It was like, how did we get there? How were we able to decide on a topic? How were we able to communicate outside of class? you know, did we feel like everyone pitched in not equally but equitably? Like, did it feel like we were all in this together? And yeah, I think that was like the main takeaway, where it's like, this can be pleasant.
Yeah,
This can be nice.
100%.
Yeah.
Something that kind of took me by surprise was the fact that we were going to be recorded, like us being here. Because I took a radio class in high school, and I was like, oh, you know, that's fine. You're in a studio. All you have is the microphone in front of you. And then when it was like, okay, so we're going to be sitting here talking, you know, like you have your notes, but you can't rely on them too much. You got to have more of that sharing in the moment, eye contact.
Yeah.
The active listening.
The active listening, one of the points there.
Body language, leaning in.
And it had to all be like, it all had to be positive, right? Like we couldn't be like
Yeah.
something we had to be very aware of.
Yeah. Like saying our part and then like zoning out for the rest, checking out, and then not listening to anybody
Or like
else.
checking my phone.
Yeah. Scrolling Instagram.
Yeah. Bidding on a novelty
Can't wait
sweater
to
on
do
eBay. Got a really good one.
Also, like, oddly specific.
Yes. I should have worn it today. Yeah, so that was, I mean, I had an experience. I mean, I'm older, so I've been in the workforce where you're like, you don't get to choose who you're working with. Like,
Right.
that's on
You're
HR, that's
just
on your direct.
assigned.
You're just there. And so you have to learn how to work with all these different personalities, and some people who I don't think have ever been socialized in their lives outside of coming into the office. So sometimes it's like, you know, you get that like strange dichotomy of like, I have to work with this person. I don't know how to work with this person. It doesn't seem like they want to be worked with. How do you handle that? And like, then coming in, like enrolling in this class, I was like, I feel like I have like more experience than like an average person. But it's like, well, no, because everyone has like some story about how like group communication just didn't work or wasn't effective
Yeah.
because they weren't sure how to use it.
When it came to like the groups, I know he gave us the option that once we were in our group, we could then change groups or like intermingle. And I was really happy that none of us felt like, oh, I need to branch out, you know, like I need to fly away. So we all stayed in the same group because I felt like maybe all of us connected in a manner because maybe we didn't have a great experience, or maybe we were all the leaders in past group projects. So like we know like, hey, like people are counting on us. Like people care about their grades. Like this class is important. We're not just gonna sign up and then be like deuces, you know?
Right, yeah.
Let me introduce myself and just be like, meh.
Yeah. Do you guys need any help? It's like we're recording right now, so I think we're good. Thanks.
Everybody brought something, and I think it was very refreshing at the fact that even though none of us were familiar with doing podcasts, but you know, radio, because I thought it was going to be like, oh, you know, like let me just speak into the microphone, like, you know, tap, tap, tap. No. I was like, no, it's not. But it was more comfortable because all of us were like, had that connection.
Yeah.
I think the first activity that we did also as a group, talking about like the positives of being in a group and the negatives of being in a group, like what's a good group, what's a bad group. I think that definitely helped us see like how do we feel about being in groups, because we all had the same like, okay, bad group, but not everyone contributes.
Right,
You
right.
know, like people who are micromanaging, you know, where you lose communication. I think we all had those experiences that from the first day kind of put us together to like, okay, I think we're kind of all responsible maybe. I think this is going to work out.
Maybe.
I know.
It has.
It has. It feels so long ago when we were doing that like group like
Kinda
group
was
working
a long
class.
time ago.
Icebreaker when
In
we were doing that
January?
and doing that.
Yeah.
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 A lifetime ago. A
Oh,
lifetime ago.
it's been 35 years.
It's been 85 years. I know that one, guys.
So we got our group together. We did not change. Yay us. Join us, won't you? Come inside the treehouse. Come inside and see how we work.
See how we.
How this group worked together. I think what would be nice, we never discussed this, and even I had to ask at one point, why are we called the Owl Gals?
We're the Owl Gals because there is the Kilman Conflict Resolution test that you can take. We had to take it for our class to see our conflict style. And there is the turtle, which is you avoid conflict. There's the shark where you compete. The fox compromises. And then the teddy bear is accommodating. The owls are collaborating. And I scored 100 on the owl. You guys got the owls as well. And that is when in our, because we had great communication as a class, where someone suggested, was it you? Like we did like a text thread.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
And
did
then-
the text
And
thing.
then you named it.
Yeah, I named it the Owl Gals.
You were the scribe of the group here.
Yeah.
And so she
And
named
then-
it the Owl Gals. And I'm like, oh, my mind is blown.
Yeah.
This is just so genius. I just remember you had like put in Owl Gals and you're like, oh, I named it since we were all like the
I didn't want to
owls.
name it something lame like
I know, right.
communication, like class, blah,
Group comm class.
boring. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like 4 days later, I'm like, why are we the owl gals? It's like, because we all got owls. Like, oh,
Well, it's okay to ask
Yes.
for clarification.
I
like,
needed clarification.
I didn't say it to anybody.
Communication.
I don't think.
Communication. And you know what? I felt comfortable enough to ask.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
no judgment. 100%.
Not in this treehouse.
Yeah, no, that's just check that outside, because it was really nice that we were able to ask questions. I was never afraid that I was gonna like have to deal with anyone's like getting butt hurt
Yeah,
or
Right.
like
stepping on toes.
yeah,
anything
stepping on
like that.
toes. Like I was not walking on eggshells. Like all of the eggs were intact in the
Yeah.
treehouse.
Our basket was full. And I know there were a few times we talked about like communicating outside of class and like what would that look like. And I feel like we didn't really have to do that much hand holding, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
100%.
Where once we realized like, oh, I can totally trust this person to get their work done. It wasn't like we have to check in like 3 times a week. Like, are you going to hand in your outline? Did you do this?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you created like a shared Google Doc where we all had like the basic outline and
Yeah.
then we would fill in our own parts.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, it was nice having the group chat, but I don't feel like it was,
It wasn't like a 911
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
We're like, oh no, I have to check the group chat because so and so isn't
Yeah.
doing what they're supposed to.
Right.
And like we never missed like the deadline. We were actually just kind of like, oh, by the way, like turn in the outline.
or like, hey, I just finished mine before I turn it in. Do you
Yeah.
guys want to take a look? So like we know, like, does this make sense?
Mhm.
the timing of when we were gonna go ahead and like meet up in the library to like prep for our podcast. Like,
Yeah.
that was like the way we contacted. I know like you guys, the one class I missed, just the one, you guys let me join via phone call
Mhm.
when you guys were in the library, and that was like really helpful because I'm the type of person who like, oh no, I'm not gonna know like what's going
Yeah.
on, and like
Yeah.
I don't want to like be. I mean, not really a burden to like be asking all these questions or be like waiting to like
Yeah.
get all the feet up, but it was a great way of communicating in a different style. Like I couldn't see your guys' faces, but like the banter was still there. Like we were able to like get everything done, and that was great.
Yeah.
I think it was nice how we all like shared our outlines like every time before the podcast.
Yeah.
Like it was always there, and I never really like, I mean, I looked at it, but I never really checked. Like it was just like, oh, this is what we're talking about. Cool, I'm talking about the same thing.
Right. Yeah, and then we would come in and be like, hey, I saw that you're talking about this,
Yeah.
and you have like, I like your approach. Do you want to talk about that? And then I can back you up on it
Yeah.
instead of like, you know.
I think the hour. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I think the hour that we set aside before we do the podcast, like today we sat for an hour and like talked and went through like what everybody has and like what are the things that we're going to talk about. I think that's really important to kind of organize our thoughts, because when we have our individual outlines, it doesn't really like mesh until you talk about it and like bring it together.
Yeah.
And that like open communication, trying to combine different ideas, but like they're the same ideas, just different perspectives. And I think that was like really awesome, because we had like a schedule down. Like we would organize our segments and our topics, and then we would leave, or I would say like, we'll text on Monday, and then nobody would text.
Yeah.
And like, I trust these girls, like it's fine.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And it was.
It was. Yeah, it worked out.
No one cut the house on fire. Like, I think everything went smoothly. And I think one of the biggest parts of our communication is like there was there didn't need to be any small talk, even when we were taking the time to like work on our stuff. Like we were able
Yeah.
to be pretty open with our conversation.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about a lot of different stuff, like
Yeah.
personal life,
Yeah.
stuff with podcasts, like all sorts of stuff, and that was really awesome.
Yeah, I think that's what like made us to be so comfortable with each other, because like when we were like defining what our topic of our next podcast was gonna be, it always started with like a conversation of like, oh, what'd you do last week, and like things like that led us into like, oh, this is something that we all like, this is something that we're all
Yeah.
Yeah,
interested
like the
in.
camping one. You literally went camping.
Yeah. I forgot
Yeah.
that's how that
Because
started.
And
Yeah.
she was like, I also like gardening. Like, I could like gardening too.
Like, that's a
Let's
great
talk about
idea.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an easy communication style with all of us, I feel like. I never felt like I was like stepping on anyone's toes. I felt like I could be really open about my ideas without having them shut down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why group communication is so scary sometimes.
Well, it's like sometimes you get differing perspectives. Like I know you two both have kids.
Mhm.
Carmela and I don't. We're similar in age. And sometimes you guys will be like going back and forth and then like saying something. I'm like, I don't understand what they just said. And I'll look over
Because
at
you're a
Carmela and
baby.
she's like, I don't know. I'm like, we see each other.
The children yearn for the moms. That was a big one.
But yeah, you guys would like go off on a banter and like, yeah. And
Yeah.
then Carmela and I would just have the.
Yeah, the dynamic still flowed,
Yeah.
even with, you know, age gap love going on here. It
Yeah.
was nice.
But I think that also comes down to like communication, where if there was something that was happening outside, because things happen in life. Everyone
Yeah.
had, you know, like I had to go home for a funeral. You didn't have childcare, where it's like, as long as we're saying like, hey, this is my life, this is my situation right now. How can we work around this, or how could, you know? So it's like, as long as you're being open, like I feel like, and not like, hey, I'm not coming to class today because X, Y, Z. It's like, no,
Yeah.
we already know the background. We know that you're reliable. You wouldn't just like not show up to class and not tell us.
Good open communication.
Yeah.
I was like, thanks, Arizona.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was good.
I also really like that we ended up being in a group of all girls. I think that like led us to be like a lot of our topics on conversations were like our views of life and like sharing our relationships that we have with other people.
So true.
And it was
So
like so
true.
there's a lot of things that were like compatible and like things that you guys have lived before and
Through the Great Depression?
You're not old, please. You're so young. You have to remember, I thought you were like 20 something. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
nice. I'm gonna hold on to that one in my knapsack.
sorry, there was no offense.
None was taken.
None.
That was a good time. My dopamine levels just like went through the roof there. Thank you. You made my life longer. You know, laughing is medicine.
It is medicine.
Yeah, but I think our process was it was really nice. Like, even like when we were figuring out like the segments, it was always like, okay, so we're going to talk about this and this and this, and we have post-it outs, and we're like trying to place the order of things. Like, should we talk about this first or this? We're writing on the whiteboard, trying to make sense
Yeah.
of it.
It's true. We did a great
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
And we actually went above and beyond because we didn't just come up with our segments. A lot of the times, like, we did little bits of like our outline.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
And,
would
like-
get segments and then like bullet points of topics that like
Yeah.
We
To like
could talk
answer
about.
questions. So like doing the outlines, it was an easier process because we really like prepared. Like
Yeah.
we puffed ourselves up. Like
Yes.
we set
Puffed
ourselves
ourselves up.
popped ourselves up.
We popped ourselves up.
So that it made it like easier to like do
Yeah.
that outline.
Yeah.
And we had made like we had fruitful discussions, even though we had like wonderful banter. to
Yeah.
get these things done. So it wasn't like, oh man, I gotta do that outline. Nobody knows like what's going on.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I don't know what we're supposed to be talking about because
Yeah.
it's so vague.
Like what's my part? Like
Yeah.
we like everyone had their own like name in like the segments. So like everything was very organized, and it wasn't like pulling teeth to organize it. I feel
Yeah.
like we're all very similar
Yeah.
when it comes to that.
And I feel like where we fell into the group just kind of came naturally. Like Elle was like already writing stuff down, and it's like, well, she's our scribe. Like,
That was very helpful.
like very organized. She's like, I created a Google Doc. I'm like, perfect.
Well, it's like I dumb everything down for myself, so then everything is so like laid out so clearly that it would be hard to get lost.
Meticulous.
Like,
nothing,
yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Like everything,
self-image.
like everybody's assigned, like the parentheses, bullet points, whatever. Add everything in there, and then like pick out what you want to put in your outline. Because
Yeah.
I think it made it easier for everybody.
Oh,
like
yeah.
adding all the details, and then you can just nitpick what you want.
Like talk about a way to like ease yourself back, or like I know like all the classes that you guys are taking, and then to have this one, it wasn't like a very like. Did you guys feel like, oh, this is like a really hard class, or like I feel like this was like a
It's my
breath of fresh
easiest
air.
class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like after, I mean, I'm taking 15 units this semester, and this is the one
Wilding
that
out.
I'm like,
And you're our moderator, and you did such
Thank
like
you.
shout out to Melissa, such an amazing job. I mean,
but I feel like this
Thank
class
you.
could have been a drain and difficult if the group wasn't set up
yeah,
the way
there
it
was
was.
like a couple slugs.
Or if there, yeah, if
There was
you
a
know, if
man.
there were different personalities, like there,
There was
there
a
was
stinky
a
boy.
man, it could have totally gone sideways, and maybe it would be like, I'm really not looking forward to this, but I'm like,
Yeah.
it's Monday.
Yeah, I was like, this is my girly time.
I get
Yeah.
to see my girl.
Look forward to it.
I'm just like, no, I'm literally just a college girly in this class.
I know, I'm
That's
like-
who I am.
Blasting down the freeway, like gas means nothing to me. It's like
Merging
blasting,
left and right.
merging left and right. I've got Celine Dion ballads playing. Like, this is the best time of my life. Yeah.
Good time.
Responsibly getting to school, though.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
Responsibly getting to school.
100%. None of us got tickets.
No one got tickets.
Yeah.
there was a long pause there, Carmela.
And I feel like there's not a lot of like need for conflict resolution. You know?
This is true.
Yes, yes.
I'm kind of disappointed.
I know, I really wanted to
Yeah, I
learn
wanted
that.
to talk more.
Or not
about
learn, I really wanted to
everything.
use that skill.
Yeah, you wanted to talk about it. Another plug for a podcast there.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would have been so much easier. Like, oh yeah, Carmela and I got in a huge fight about gardening. Like,
I know.
Are we going
We
to talk
had
about
to
tomatoes or
conflict
is it gonna be fruit or flowers,
resolution.
guys?
Do we get full
Yeah.
shade, partial shade? Like, what? Just
Because
arguing
then we
nonsense.
could have, really like dug into collaborating.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, and I'm so glad that I took this test. I have always felt like compromising, you are losing someday. You're
Yeah.
like, my whole heart, I'm just losing it in this compromising thing. Because nobody really wins except the other person when you're
Yeah.
compromising. And with collaborating, I feel like that's how it should be. And that's how it should be even like in a relationship or in group project. You should be like bringing these fun ideas to life where everybody wins.
Mhm.
And I feel like because we had such great communication in the treehouse,
Yeah.
there was no need to be like, hey, like, no, like, let's talk about this because, like, that idea stinks. Like, there was
Yeah.
none of that happening.
Yeah. I was in a group.
Story time.
Story time. I was in a group, and I think why I was like a little, we call like gun shy, I guess you would say. Just like, I was in this group, and it was all online, and we had a
Red
group
flag.
thread set up. I know, and we had to do a project together, and so we had decided like, all right, we're gonna meet at this time. Come join when you can. Everyone said it worked for them. 3 of the 5 people showed up in the virtual room that we were using, like the Google Space or whatever, however you have that.
Yeah.
So we were just like communicating. One guy like popped in, then popped out, but I had this one gal that like really wanted to help. She was like, I want to do this. I'm like, perfect. Let's meet again before we have to submit the project. And she's like, well, why? And I'm like, well, I want to we need to make sure everyone
to go over the
project and make
Yeah.
sure like all the pieces are there, you know? Like, I don't know you. I don't know if you're going to do this. So we'd agreed on another day, like let's call it Thursday. And so we meet up again. 2 people like didn't pop in. And I said, you know, like, well, this guy submitted what he had. I'm like, that looks great. This is what I have. She goes, oh, I didn't do the visual, but I was just going to submit that on the day. And I go, no, I really would have preferred it if you had it now. And she's like, well, I don't have it. So I had like Canva and like immediately like got a visual together and like uploaded it. And I was like, what about this? And then she messaged me privately. She's like, why are you taking my job? And I was like, because you didn't do it. You didn't do your job. You were supposed to have something to show to the group. Anyway, it became like a little bit of an issue where I was like screenshotting everything, and then I was like, I am happy to send these to the professor.
Yeah.
And like, cause I know what was said, and like, yeah, and then she was
You're
like,
gonna learn today.
yeah, and then she's like, well, why don't you, you know, and she would like, she's like, I don't know why you took over, like, you should have just said you wanted to do it, and I'm like, that's not, I didn't want to do it.
You said you were gonna
You said you were gonna do it, and then you didn't.
Here's a screenshot.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing these now.
And here's the note that says, okay, great, let's have our materials on Thursday when we meet.
Yeah.
So like stuff like that, where I'm like, why am I the bad guy?
For being organized.
being organized.
For communicating, for
Yes.
setting it up.
Yeah.
You're not.
Thank you.
You're not.
Yeah.
But it's stuff like that, where it's like, who wins in that situation? Like, I don't. Like, I look like I'm taking
Tyrant.
over.
A
Yeah.
dictator.
Yeah.
No, you are not. It's
Yeah.
funny because they tell us in high school, like, oh, you're not going to get away with this in college.
You will. You do get away with it.
100% get away
That
with
and
it.
more.
And can I tell you?
That and more.
You get away with it at work too. I've worked with people where I'm like,
Yeah.
they didn't do that.
It's like, I set all this
I
up.
did this.
And they're like, I feel like I should get paid more.
Yeah.
It's like, no. That's not how it works. So I would say definitely, again, breath of fresh air, because we had the good communication to where those things just didn't happen. And it was definitely like positive after negative experiences in the workforce, outside of it, in high school, with family members.
Yeah.
Just this group, man.
I felt like from all the ideas that we shared, sometimes when you're in a group, some people want to talk about things that you're like, I don't know, that doesn't really interest me, and then you're like, okay, I guess we'll talk about that. But I never felt this like here. Every time it was like, oh, I'm so interested to actually learn this. Like from the first from the first podcast that we did, that was like interpersonal communication and body image, self-image.
Self-image, yeah.
Which
We talked
did-
about
we
body
talked
image
about
was
body
included,
image,
yeah,
was it?
yeah.
What you see in the mirror.
Yeah. But I feel like everything that we talked about was something that I had an interest in, and the segments that we picked all were interesting. Like I never felt that I was compromising with something that I didn't really want to do. And I was so happy that like you guys also had the same interests. It was like, oh my god, this is awesome.
Yeah.
That is true. Because that was one of the first speeches that we gave. We had to give like some podcast ideas.
Yes.
And I was like, oh yeah, I used to be like personal trainer, like talking about fitness. That actually fit into body image, which we were supposed to talk about self-image and intrapersonal communication.
Yeah, because you really got into the social media aspect too.
Yeah,
And like,
that's another part
yeah,
of it.
all that culture.
Yeah. So, and then you had brought up gardening, and I remember like after that speech, I was like, oh yeah, like my uncle has a garden, like people in my family have a garden, and I was like, oh my, I hope she doesn't think I'm just like a weirdo, like bragging to her about what she taught. But I'm like, but you talked about it, so like because you talked about it, I feel like you're kind of open to keep talking about it, and then that happened to be like added, you know, getting back to your roots was one of our segments in one of our podcasts.
For our final segment, no tears, we're going to be spreading our wings and looking at how these skills apply beyond the classroom and beyond this group. Are there any things that you learned that you connected with the most? What do you think?
I would say a part of this class we're supposed to do peer reviews on like other podcasts. And because we were reviewing those, I really picked up on nonverbal communication. I feel like I'm already kind of I'm more like an emotional and like pick up on those cues already. But watching them on YouTube, like that was a whole nother thing to be like, okay, like eye contact or like how your hands and your body language. And so like I definitely want to work more on like my eye contact, and I feel like I really got to practice that in this class doing the podcast. Like I feel like I'm like very big on like absolutely. Like I see you, I hear you. I mean, I'm over here like yep yep whenever someone says something. So that's part of like for me.
Yeah, I feel like I as we learn, I realized how important the active listening is. And I feel like sometimes, like with people in my life, I wasn't truly active listening. And that made me like, okay, like mentally, every time I was like, am I actually active listening? Am I actually doing this? And I started to like be conscious about it. Because sometimes you just want to share so much. Like you want to share your ideas that you're like, you're thinking of what you're going to say, and you're not paying attention to
Your
what.
yummy yam, as my professor says, and I started saying that to my daughter. I was like, you need to quiet the voice in your head. My professor calls it the yummy yam. So like now me and my daughter, we say the yummy yam when I'm talking to her. But like that's just like what you said. Like you just get excited and like you just start speaking and like you just wanna.
Yeah, that was actually one of my personal goals at the beginning. I said I wanted to be able to formulate the phrases in my head better before saying it. And then as soon as I started to learn, I was like, well, with that, I also need to add active listening. So I need to know what to say, but I also need to know how to really listen to what someone else is saying. And I think that was really cool to be able to practice that, like here, while we were preparing for it, and then in my personal life as well.
Yeah, I think before with my friends, before this class, we would kind of like talk and then give a little bit of feedback, and then the other person would talk and then give a little feedback. And there wasn't a ton of like asking questions. It was more like talking to each other and then giving a small comment and then moving on. And there wasn't a ton of like picking apart things, because that's really important in some conversations, especially when you're like talking about certain things with your friends. Picking apart things and like analyzing, doing whatever.
Asking
and
questions to show interest.
Yeah,
is
that's
a big
yeah,
part of it too.
that's what I was
I feel like we're all
bringing
interested.
up. Yeah, the asking questions part, because I feel like I don't ever ask questions. Like I'm interested in what people are saying and I'm internalizing everything and I'm like remembering it, but sometimes I don't ask clarifying questions because I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like. Yeah, that's all I
You
need
sound
to
like
know.
a yes man. You're like,
Well, not a yes. Maybe. Maybe.
I would never. Yeah, I would never. Have
Yes.
thought
Yes,
that of you.
ma'am.
Yes.
Because I would say you and like Carmela, you guys are very articulate. Like
Really?
when we were in like the
I feel articulate.
I feel like you don't just like blurt out whatever. Like I feel like I'm just like that type of like like let's keep it going, guys. Like a lot the banter.
Yeah.
But you guys would like actually think. You would ask questions. You would be like, oh my hey, let me like interject here. But like what you had to say was so well thought out. A lot of the times I'm like, that's deep.
I did not feel like that at all.
No,
I feel like I was just like
perception, man.
talking to talk and like talking in circles. I don't
No,
know.
you were asking. You
good to
did
know.
everything that you set out to accomplish, both of you.
Aw.
Oh,
That's so sweet.
you go.
Thank you.
Just watching you guys grow as people.
Aw.
I really connected with, and we talked about this, is on our first podcast. No, second. First. Interpersonal communication.
Yeah.
And that was when I think we had a list of like our top 3 that we wanted to discuss. And I think
Oh, one of
interpersonal
them
was like
was-
on the bottom for me.
Yeah.
And you guys had, and it's like, well, that's the one we got. And I'm like, that's fine. It was my, it wasn't my
One
number one, but it was my
perception
top.
first.
Yeah.
Yes,
Somebody
yes.
took it.
But I'm so glad we did interpersonal, because it really, not just for myself, but trying to see where other people are coming from. Like now when I am at work, or if there's like a little bit of a miscommunication or conflict, it's like, well, what are they going through right now? Like, why are they coming in with this attitude I know it's not because of something I did because I just got here. Like,
Yeah.
like what do we do? Yeah, I just clocked in and we deal with shirts. What is the problem? Like what
Yeah.
could possibly be the issue? You know,
Some
and it's
of
like
our
how's
local
your,
merch.
you know, and just being like, well, there has to be something else going on, and thinking going into a group and being like, this is not going to be good. Like I'm going to end up doing all the work. Where it's like you're really setting yourself up for failure instead of going in being like, this is going to be a good time. I'm going to, you know, talk positively to myself and about myself so I don't bring down the energy. And I feel like sometimes when I now see people or like interact with them, I'm like, were you kind to yourself today? Like, like you have to be kind to yourself. No one else is going to be kind to you.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, like trying
Bars.
to. I know.
Bars. Like you're such a positive person.
I know. Well,
know. You got it together.
Got to get it
Melissa.
together.
You got it together.
Yeah. So I really like that. Just like walking in with like an open mind.
Stepping out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I really stepped out of my comfort zone just being on a podcast. I really did want to say no. But I'm like, well, I'm only doing one class.
I did not want to do podcasts.
Right? And then I was like, no, it's going to be filmed. It's always going to be here on the interwebs, guys. But the more that we did it, the more I realized, like, this is fun. And, like,
Yeah.
what a great group I get to be a part of. Like, all three of you are absolutely incredible, strong, brilliant, beautiful women. And I mean, like, it made coming to class, like I said, literally a breath of fresh air. Like,
Yeah.
I am in the stages of reinventing myself and going through a divorce, and it's like wah outside of class. But when I come in here, I'm like I said, you're just like a college girl, and like we get to talk about lighthearted stuff. And if we ever got like deep about like talking about other things, like it was very like it was still like there was a lot of positive self growth even
Yeah.
throughout like this class, and like you said, taking it into the workforce, I got to like take into what I've learned like with my children, and like you get to work with kids, and like hearing about like what you do, and like oh my gosh, all like the classes you guys are taking, it's just, I would say, like really cool like how much hit those goals that we set for ourselves.
Yeah.
For the class.
And also like finding like partway through the semester, like, oh, I think my goals have changed because now I really want to work on the, like conflict resolution. I feel like that's like a big one where it's like I'm trying to be better at like laying out like these are my expectations and I can't expect other people to know what they are unless I vocalize them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I can't be upset that they didn't pull it. You know what I mean?
They
or like
didn't read my mind.
read my mind. Like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is, hey, this is what I expect from the group, or this is what I expect to happen during this project. Here's what I would love to
I'm
see.
gonna be out of town.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is how I would like to contribute. Does anyone have anything else, or do they want to, you know, a rebuttal? Any accusations? Any problems?
like
what?
No one fought you for like the moderator
I know.
seat. Because I know you.
I think it was established in the beginning.
It was a slam dunk from the very first
Oh, thank
podcast.
you.
Like I'm just like I don't know what we would do if Melissa wasn't
Yeah.
here because none of us are gonna like come. We're not gonna bring
Like
it. the way you did.
outspoken, bubbly, like
Yeah, the energy was just
Yeah.
every time,
Just
like
popping.
The energy.
And as it went
Look, it's
along,
an
you
album.
came up with more like
yeah.
And the creativity of like even like our segments to like we're really drilling it in. Like we are the owl
We
gals.
are the owl gals.
Like all matching tattoos after this.
I know.
Full like back piece of just like an
I
owl.
have some sketches that I brought.
And I mean, even having that title of Owl Gals from the beginning, I think really united us as a group, because I know the other groups, they didn't have a name in the beginning because they're not as cool as us. But
That's true.
no shade.
No shade.
But
we were just on it. We're just on it, guys.
but like as time went on, they developed names as they got closer as a group. But I
Yeah.
think like off the like beginning of class, I think we had already had a really strong bond, because I think between you and I, we didn't like have a ton of small talk. It was like I like cried to you like second day of class.
When we had to give
I
like,
had a
our
horrible
presentation.
day.
Yeah, and I was just like,
I was
let
like
it out.
sobbing, and
I
you
was
were
like,
like, "You got this." And I was like, "Thank you so much."
That is so wonderful. I mean, because like it's that perspective of like
Right.
looking at like everyone has a life outside of class.
Right.
Yeah.
You never know what somebody's going through. And when you show up to class, you're coming back to school to better yourself. It's not like what those high school teachers say about,
I know.
like, oh, everyone's in on it. Like, everyone's got it. Like, no, we do. Like, this group does. And, like, it really means something to us to be a part of this communication class and to do well, to show up, to do a good job, to please our professor. Like, and I mean, yeah, like just taking a moment to realize like we're all having our own human experience.
Yeah.
And like how can we take this and like keep using it? And I feel like we all got it in here
Yeah.
to like continue with that.
And making sure like you don't have to like pry into people's lives, but just know that like not everyone is coming from the same place that you are. You know, like you would mention, like both Brianna and I are moms. You're studying abroad. This is like a new country for you. So it's like you're going to be working with people from all over. You're going to be hopefully you're going to be interacting with people who are in a very different life stage than you are and have more experiences. And so, you know, going in with an open mind and, you know, well, I don't know why they would react that way. It's like, well,
You know,
ask, find out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Ask the questions.
Yeah.
And I think like we could actually ask each other the questions, and you know, like we said, nobody was gonna get butthurt about it.
Yeah.
Or I feel like we were also too at a point where we're very comfortable, like, just you know, I don't want to get into it right now. And it's not like to take it personally, like, Elle didn't want to tell me like what happened to her today. It's more of like, hey, like she's saying a clear boundary, and I can still be here for her.
Yeah.
Like this is like, you know, this is my peer. You guys are my peers, but like we can still show up for the people that we are around, and we choose to be around people in this class. So I'm just saying, guys.
Does anyone have anything else to add before?
Yeah, I think, well, I just want to say, like, thank you to you guys, for you guys to keep going, even though you guys didn't want to do podcasts.
Oh, right.
I am so glad.
Branching out.
I am so glad that you guys stuck with it, because then we turned out to be this amazing group.
Yeah.
And it was so nice to, like, get to know you guys and see, like, you guys are really strong and smart. Like, I've learned so many things from you guys. All of you.
I'm glad you fought to be in this class. Fought tooth and nail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Really, just
Yeah.
using your connections, man, to get in here.
Pulled in the big guns.
Yeah, I gotta say,
Pop's wife.
if it wasn't for Professor Pop's wife,
Yeah.
this whole group would not have been what it was.
Yeah.
It would have been a very different dynamic.
It was a very different dynamic because we literally had the outside perspective of someone who came into Los Estados Unidos.
Yeah.
It's America. And you didn't go to Canada first. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Almost.
Canada didn't want you. Sorry.
You
Don't
came
worry.
to California, and I'm so happy that you did. Because when I heard you're like, I'm over here, Brazil. That's where you're from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh man, what if I got it wrong after all this time? I was like, man, like how does somebody from Brazil come to Solano Community College? It's an amazing school. But I was just like, wow, like that is like what a cool life story. And
Yeah.
then to say
I think it's
to
because
your
it's like
grandchildren,
there's places that are closer, I would imagine.
just a wee bit.
Yeah.
You're part of the Algals
Yeah.
throughout your whole, you know,
I know.
journey here.
And I'm so glad because you were the first person that talked to me. Because I got
We
here
got
second.
so straight. The puppeteer of
I wasn't here for the first class, and I got here presentation. I have a big board with me. I don't see anyone else with boards because you hadn't gotten to class yet.
I will be late all the time. Always, I will not be on time, and I have to accept that about myself, and I do.
You have things going on.
It's a healthy
Valid
self-image.
excuse.
Yeah.
Know your place in the
I know
school.
my place. It's gonna be 5 minutes behind. Constantly. Yes, I was not there yet.
You guys,
Yeah.
you both did collages.
I did yeah.
Yeah.
I still have mine. I still kept it up.
Yeah, hang it up, hang it up. Hang it
That
up.
should should be worth extra credit if you kept that.
We should have displayed it somewhere. That was a
Oh,
great
that's
idea.
right.
Shout out to our audience for all the extra jokes that we would have between us. Like there was a lot of inside jokes, but I mean, that's what made us so bubbly and so
Yes.
like giggly. Like we were just having a good time, genuinely having a good time.
Genuinely good time. And I hope if you are watching and you're on the fence about taking group comm, if it's not an elective, you should definitely do it.
100% with Professor Bob.
Really fun. Really great time. And with that, thank you so much for listening to us. We have been the Owl Gals. As always, we're here at SCC TV studio, and this has been the ride of a lifetime semester. Ride of a lifetime. Thank you so much.
Bye.
If you are interested in a career in sports broadcasting,
whether you're commentating a live game
or hosting your own TV show,
for more information, contact Greg Poff. That's me at solano.edu.
we hope to see you here next semester. And remember,
It's more than just sports. It's an education.